sure it's been a pretty tough day for you.
Yeah, I think it's a tough day for the entire basketball community. It's tragic and shocking. When I first got the news over my phone, it's one of those things where it was hard to fathom, hard to believe. This can't be true. It's a great loss, not only for the basketball community, but for the world in general. I mean, Kobe was obviously a cultural icon, a basketball icon, and his basketball career speaks for itself. His second act, he was making a huge impact in a number of areas, and it's just a devastating loss, and our heart goes out to not only the Bryant family, but everybody affected and killed in the helicopter crash.
What do you remember most about him working? Did you work directly with him on that Olympics team, or what specifically?
Yeah, I was very fortunate to work with Kobe from 2007 to 2012, both the Beijing Olympics and the London Olympics. And when he joined the team in 2007, there was a FIBA qualifying tournament in Las Vegas, and he really changed the whole mindset, I believe. And there's one particular moment I remember. We were playing Venezuela in our first exhibition game in the Thomas and Mack Center, and he came in wanting to be a defensive stopper. And while he was known for his defense, he was more known for his scoring. And he was put on Grievous Vasquez. And the very first possession of the game, he picked him up full court and knocked the ball away from him and dove on the ball for a loose ball. And that really set the tone, not only for those championships, but I really think the entire time that I was with him and the 2 gold medals.
Your Kobe's work ethic's legendary. Your friend Chris Collins yesterday mentioned he was an assistant on that team too, and he'd get calls from him saying, "Hey, can you come rebound for me at 2 a.m., 3 a.m.?" Did you have any kind of those interactions with him?
Yeah, I was very fortunate to be, when Chris was sleeping, the other person that he called. I can remember working him out in Manchester, England, and I still tell people to this day my most intense workout during my time with the Olympics was rebounding for Kobe. And not because he was missing a lot of shots, because we were in the gym so long, and what he expected of a workout and the details that he expected of everybody around him was absolutely incredible. A lot of lessons could be learned. I learned a lot of lessons from watching Kobe. He had an intolerance for mediocrity, or people not giving their best. And certainly that allowed him to accomplish great things, and it rubbed some people the wrong way. But if you were around him, a teammate, a part of his organization, he expected your best. And that's the reason that he thrived as a basketball player. And then after his playing career was done, he was thriving. And usually the second act for athletes is a hard one, and they don't transition smoothly. And not only did he seemingly transition smoothly, but he was excelling in so many areas.
Steve, that 2008 team they called the Redeem Team because of what had happened a couple of years before, and then Kobe was named captain. What did that mean with all that talent, all those guys on that team, and he's the captain?
Well, I think Kobe, along with Jason Kidd, those were the 2 veterans. But Kobe is a guy who had won championships, and you had a number of these budding superstars that had won championships. Dwayne Wade obviously did, but other guys were learning how to do that. And he kind of set the tone in terms of the seriousness with which everyone was going to approach the Olympics. Obviously Argentina was the golden years of their basketball. Spain was outstanding. But you wouldn't be able to tell the difference if we were preparing for Argentina, Spain in a gold medal game, or if we were preparing for a team that we were projected to beat by 60 points. And that tone is a tone that I think everybody respected and admired. And Then in the gold medal game in '08, we were on the ropes. I mean, people forget that. Spain was making a comeback and coming out of a timeout. Really, Kobe and D. Wade were the guys who stepped up, and they won championships before and made the key plays to win the game.
You were helping scout opponents, right? That was part of your duties.
That was part of my
And
job,
was
yeah.
he kind of hounding you for information, and did you feel kind of like intimidated, like this is Kobe Bryant, and I have to be prepared because I don't want to fall down on the job with this guy?
Well, there's a lot of reasons to be intimidated, and Kobe was one of them. But one of my primary responsibilities was scouting, and that's not just total team scouting, but individual player scouting. And Kobe took great pride in that. And so, obviously, you would expect him, as we're getting ready to play Argentina and Ginobili, to want extra film. But he wanted that on everyone, guys that nobody's ever heard of. And because he always wanted to be at his best, he wanted to give his team the best chance to win. And that was the competitive edge that propelled him to being one of the greatest players of all time. He was always asking for extra, and I think that's one of the things with Kobe that I think all young players should try to emulate is he mastered the unrequired work. It's easy to show, it's not necessarily easy, but to show up from 2 to 5 in practice, that's the price of admission. The unrequired work is what makes people great. And he took that to the ultimate level.
It was that work ethic that made him stand apart.
It was, and it was his work ethic and the fact that he was always trying to gain a competitive edge. So it wasn't just the physical work, it was also the mental and emotional investment that he put into the game, he put into competition. Those things were separators, and it certainly separated him as a champion and a basketball player.
The guys on your team, they all grew up with Kobe Bryant. Most of them kind of probably idolized him. What did you do as a staff yesterday? Did you kind of bring the team together to talk about it, or how did you kind of process the information?
Yeah, well, we had to give our guys a mandatory day off yesterday because of the NCAA rules, but we met the first thing this morning, and obviously for our guys at that age group, this is the first real sports icon that's passed on. And for them, we have a lot of guys that grew up not only watching and admiring and looking at Kobe as a basketball hero, but he was somebody they could relate to. He was a cultural icon as well. And so we talked about that, and we talked about how precious each moment is. I mean, look, 36 hours ago, none of us thought we'd be standing here today, and the world can change in an instant, and you need to make the most of every day and every opportunity that you have, and you need to make sure that you tell the people that you love them, because you can't take for granted that it'll be there the next day. And Kobe, like people ask me all the time, like he was on a helicopter, but that's how he traveled. I don't think people understand. He lived in Newport Beach in Orange County, but a lot of his work was done obviously as a basketball player and at the Staples Center, and now he was coaching his daughter Gigi. He didn't want to deal with traffic, so he took a helicopter, and so that wasn't unusual for him. That was like par for the course. But I guarantee you, he had taken thousands of helicopter rides, and no one knew as they got on that helicopter the last time that it would end up like this. And as I said before, your heart just goes out to the entire Bryant family and all the others that were on the flight as well.